first week of May 2017. Hello everyone. As Nibiru emerges from behind the Sun in its elongated abnormal slingshot orbit, its effects here on Earth are being felt on many fronts. With the onset of climate change becoming a major factor in the ushering in of the days of tribulation, catastrophic floods that were once considered to be 100-year events are now becoming more prevalent as the Earth continues to suffer the effects of an incoming planetary system. The heartland of America is witness to the destructive consequences of flooding. It seems to be happening all too often. If you have ever been a victim of major flooding, you probably know what I am referring to, as it happened to me in the Great Flood of 2016, where many homes and businesses were devastated across large regions of southeast Louisiana. Many of these victims are still trying to recover 8 months later. What is being called the catastrophic flooding of America is taking place. Take a look at this drone footage from the heartland. At the same time that terrific flooding is taking place in the heartland, out west, immense spring snowstorms have become a common occurrence in the past several years. Take a look at this drone footage from Wyoming on April 28th. In the midst of the flooding and the snowstorms was an immense tornado outbreak in the southern United States, most notably in Texas, where the formation of this system caused immense damage. In Chile, another massive earthquake 22 miles off the western coast rocked the country, shaking buildings and sparking tsunami warning sirens. The quake, which had a preliminary magnitude of 7.1, was quickly downgraded by the USGS to 6.9.
Todos arrancando para los cerros. Yo no muevo un dedo, me quedo aquí en mi casita. Me subo al techo. El jefe me protege. Todo el mundo subiendo a los cerros.
Individually, these particular events might seem unrelated, but as climate and earth changes continue to escalate across the world, it now appears that there is an interconnection, that each of these events share a common denominator, the effects of an incoming planetary system. Here's something you should understand if you haven't already figured it out. Drastic climate change is not a product of carbon dioxide or chlorofluorocarbons being released into the atmosphere. There is a force much greater that is in play, that is having a profound effect on our planet. The odds that each of these major events would occur simultaneously in nature in the same week are very slim, almost impossible. And as you know, things are getting much worse. The brown dwarf star, which lies at the center of what is referred to often as the Nibiru system, is interacting electrically with our sun. The sun is actually pulsating from the interaction. I have seen this phenomena on 2 different occasions in the past year, so I know that this is not something that is manually manipulated through the photographer's lens aperture. Here is an interesting capture of the flickering sun taken in January of this year. Although the brown dwarf emits little visible light, it is highly radioactive and has for many years been bombarding the solar system with what is called vertical solar neutrinos, which are also produced in the sun as a product of nuclear fusion. These diatonic particles are altering our atmosphere and are destabilizing the Earth's crust, creating havoc from below the Earth's surface. In essence, our planet is being attacked from both above and below ground. Atmospheric changes in conjunction with a transformation of the Earth's mantle are the primary reasons severe weather events are increasing in frequency and severity. Because of this, we can expect the lithosphere to collapse in short order. As Nibiru continues its approach, we will begin witnessing a marked increase in events related to climate and earth changes. The conclusion? Nibiru is changing the very dynamics of our planet. As troubling as the events that are occurring on the surface of our planet may be, there are events happening below the surface which are just as troubling, if not more dangerous, in their ability to cause widespread devastation across the entire globe. I am referring to the absolute magnitude and intensity of volcanic eruptions happening on an ever-increasing scale. For its part, the Ring of Fire is heating up with 37 volcanoes currently erupting, and others are showing signs of increased seismic unrest, as shown here via volcano discovery. Let's take a closer look at some of the volcanic eruptions that are now occurring. The Popocatépetl volcano in Mexico exploded 8 times between April 26th and 27th. The volcano registered 10 minutes of harmonic tremor. On the Japanese island of Kyushu on the Asumi Peninsula, this volcano suddenly threw ash some 3 kilometers into the sky on April 28th. 2 weeks prior to this outburst, a much more violent eruption occurred here. Take a look. Just recently, a BBC film crew had a lucky escape when Italy's Mount Etna suddenly erupted. The crew, along with dozens of tourists, had to run for their lives. Check it out. In case you haven't noticed, our planet is changing quickly. We are witnessing a great transformation. It's happening before our very eyes. A recently published article describes where a body of water in Canada called Slims River completely disappeared within just 4 short days. This is actually the first time in modern history where scientists have observed an entire river disappear in the space of days. Historical evidence suggests it usually takes thousands of years for the process to occur. But in this case, the Slims River, which is fed by Canada's Kaskawalsh Glacier, was co-opted in only 4 days. The phenomenon called river piracy is where one river's flow is captured by another. But scientists have never seen such a rapid piracy, and qualifies the time frame as geologically instantaneous and likely to be permanent. The event that took place in Canada is but one of several similar events in which rivers have suddenly disappeared. In March of 2016, the Otoyac River, which crosses 8 municipalities in the central mountainous area of eastern Mexico, disappeared overnight after a giant crack had opened up. This is what that river once looked like. In June of 2016, a part of the popular Ogun River in the African country of Nigeria had mysteriously dried up overnight. Here you can see the people walking over what was once a flowing river. In Russia, a body of water called Lake Peshera disappeared in 1 day in June of 2016 as a sinkhole opened up and drained the entire reservoir. Events such as these are happening everywhere and all too frequently. The Earth is reacting to the movement of a heavenly body more powerful than anything the world has ever known. So let's take a look at the latest images and videos that are shared by our Facebook followers and subscribers. The atmospheric changes that are occurring on Earth are creating a series of extraordinary sky anomalies. On April 27th, a strange phenomena took place in the sky above the Philippines. This unusual phenomenon is happening in the ionosphere, which is the part of the atmosphere that is ionized by solar radiation, an influx of cosmic particles that are penetrating the magnetic field, thus creating this spectacle. Just one of the signs that the magnetic shield that protects us from harmful radiation is beginning to collapse, which in turn will result in the eventual collapse of the ionosphere, our last protection against radiation penetration. On the 25th of April, an ominous picture was painted when the skies over Poland turned an eerie purple and pink. This is an atmospheric anomaly that on the surface would be considered unnatural, since it has been an uncommon occurrence until recently. The consensus on the cause of this phenomenon varies. Could it be the effects of an eruption of the dormant volcano Kembalny in Russia, the first such eruption in over 240 years? Or is it possible that the red iron oxide dust that is said to accompany the tail of Nibiru has swung towards the Earth, penetrating our atmosphere? This anomaly is another in a series of unexplained mysterious events taking place on Earth. On the 22nd of April, a series of orbs were captured in the sky during a massive prayer gathering in South Africa. There are 3 distinct orbs, one obscured by a small cloud to the left, one appearing as if joined to the sun, and a smaller one to the right. The original image was put through the editor, and the light intensity was brought down just a notch. And here is what we found. The orb to the lower left of the sun is revealed behind the cloud. At the same time, there is the presence of something very large interacting with the sun. And another dimmer object is seen off to the far right. Here is a way in which you may be able to capture the presence of the Planet X Nemesis system. It worked for this skywatcher, and it may work for you as well. People have been using filtering mechanisms such as this LP45, a floppy disk, or a welder's lens to view its presence. This is why it is so important to surf the internet and search for answers to your many concerns about this incoming system. There are many forums and internet groups on this subject that can help you in your search for the truth. Here is something that I learned quite some time ago, and I always try to share this with others who are feeling moments of despair or discomfort with respect to this subject. There are some out there who do not want you to know the truth. They are those who exist in the underworld of hatred and deceit. As misery loves company, so also are those who fall prey to the misconception of reality. There are 2 types of individuals who frequent our channel here on YouTube. Those who know and have a clear understanding that great changes are taking shape on this planet that are manifest by the presence of a higher entity. The other is those who refuse to acknowledge these changes, who take great pleasure in intimidating anyone who doesn't accept their ill-conceived view of the creation of the world and how it has evolved and changed over generations. My friends, do not fall into their trap. Do not let them persuade you that nothing is changing or that changes will never come upon the earth. It is better to take the road less traveled than to journey the road that leads to the abyss. It is a decision that each of us must face. Right from wrong, truth versus deceit, knowledge versus misconception, following the light as opposed to wandering in the wilderness. We can live in misery, or we can make every day count. I choose to do the latter. I tell you these things not to put fear into your hearts, but rather to guide you and help you understand that there is more to this life and the world in which we dwell than what we are being told by those whom we have entrusted. Everything we say and do in this life will have a tremendous impact on those around us. So when you get to the fork of the road, choose wisely. It can make all the difference in your quest for truth and enlightenment. You're welcome to follow us over at Facebook or on our media website. We're always updating these sites, so take a moment to check them out. In the meantime, stay safe and keep looking to the sky.